Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. It's a memory that came up today that really just moved me. It was, I think it was Christmas Eve. Yeah, because on Christmas Day, my mother and I would drive to the maximum security prison that was about 5 hours away from where we lived. And we'd get up super, super early in the morning, and we would go, and she would visit with inmates there. And they were just so happy to have this mother, grandmother figure, for some of them great grandmother. And it was just a blessing. And she wrote about it in her journals and how it really blessed her to be able to give to so many who didn't have anybody caring for them. What a powerful thing. So it's Christmas Eve, and my mother called me into her room and she said, "Merry Christmas, here's your present." And I said, "What?" And she went just standing there doing this. She put up her hands in the air. She said, "Me." And I said, "What?" And she said, "Come here." She hugged me. And I said, "Okay, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Mom." And she said, "What do you smell?" And I said, "Nothing." And she said, "Yeah, I stopped smoking." And she had smoked, you know, all of my aware life. She was in her 80s, early 80s at the time, and she had completely stopped smoking. And she'd done it over this 6 month period. She said, "I haven't had a cigarette in 6 months." And that was her Christmas present to me. And she wanted to give it to me the day before we went up because she was going to talk about it and how it was never too late to stop doing something that you need to stop doing. And my mother had heart disease, which I've inherited. And she would always go inside herself whenever she had an episode. If she went into AFib or anything, she would say, "I'm going to my secret place." And she shouldn't have lived as long as she did with the kind of heart disease that she had. And doctors always marveled. "You mean she started having heart attacks in her 40s and she's still here?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's still here. She knows what to do." Anyway, I think she was going to Black World, which is a novel that I wrote. It's about a corner in heaven where the living and the dead can converse. Anyway, she lived, I think she was probably 81 at the time. She lived another 6 years. And the gift of her stopping smoking those 6 months gave me those 6 years. I'm sure of it. And what great years we were able to have together. It takes me to the question of what is it that we can give up or take on, start doing, that would give us more life, more joy, more energy, more joie de vie for the people that we love, for the things that we love, for the self that we are. Yeah. What do you smell? "I don't smell anything." She said, "Exactly." Life is amazing, and sometimes it gets more amazing when we reflect back and begin to see it. I hope somebody reflects back on the things that I do the way I can see what she did for me. I love you.